thank you for this opportunity to testify today about the economic impact of the cap-and-trade regulations under AB 32. Guardian Industry Corp. is a privately held company based in Michigan and a global leader in the production of advanced glass products for the building, automotive, and solar sectors. We have manufacturing operations in 25 countries on 5 continents. In 1978, Guardian launched a float glass manufacturing plant in Kingsburg, California. Today, the plant employs nearly 300 people and is responsible for at least 5 times that number of indirect jobs. Guardian has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the Kingsburg plant to improve its performance, continuously reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, and enable it to produce energy-efficient glass for California's residential and commercial buildings. The AB 32 cap-and-trade regulations, as currently designed, will have a negative economic impact on flat glass manufacturers in California for 2 primary reasons. First, the flat glass industry is energy-intensive and trade-exposed and very vulnerable to leakage. Yes, sir.
Distinguish flat glass from round glass from curved glass. I don't know the glass.
Well, flat glass, our industry sector in the glass sector, flat glass, we produce, glass that's literally flat that's used in buildings.
Like that window.
Exactly. Mostly primarily for architectural, but also that's fabricated into windshields for automotive, or increasingly, solar, the glass that's used in different solar technologies, concentrated solar, and also in electronics. So we serve a number of different industries, or sectors rather, but architecture would be the largest, as opposed to the container industry serving the bottling industry.
A car windshield would still be a flat, F-L-A-T?
Well, it has to be fabricated. We have float glass furnaces, they're called, and they literally produce what is flat glass, and then that could be fabricated into various end-use products, including windshields, but that would be done in a separate facility.
As opposed to a bottle, which is...
Exactly.
Okay,
it's a different manufacturing process.
I'm sorry.
Is that clear?
Okay.
Okay. So for 2 reasons, we see a negative economic impactor on our part of the flat glass, of the glass sector. First, the flat glass industry is energy intensive, as I mentioned. Competition from both U.S. and international sources is intense, and the flat glass sector is highly price sensitive. Therefore, flat glass manufacturers cannot pass compliance costs on to customers. As a result, they will be placed at a significant disadvantage when competing against companies in jurisdictions that have weak or no emissions control requirements. Second, due to the nature of their manufacturing process, flat glass producers cannot respond quickly to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Float glass plants operate 24 hours a day, 365 days per year, for up to 15 to 17 years, with a furnace line melting raw materials at temperatures in excess of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, float and flat, well, just float is the process by which you're producing the flat glass. So let's say they're interchangeable for purposes here. But these furnace lines must be completely rebuilt every 15 to 18 years in a process known as a cold tank repair. A float glass plant must be shut down completely for several months during this cold tank repair. Because of technological constraints and operational risks, significant modifications to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions of a float glass plant should be undertaken during a cold tank repair, not during the operating life of a furnace. Therefore, compliance costs associated with the cap-and-trade regulations will likely erode the competitiveness of flat glass manufacturers in California without providing a meaningful incentive for them to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Guardian has made significant investments at its Kingsburg plant in recent years. In 2008, at a cost of $100 million, Guardian completed a cold tank repair at the plant. Recognizing California's intention to move forward with AB 32, Guardian invested in expensive state-of-the-art pollution control equipment and took other actions to reduce the plant's greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, Guardian reduced the plant's greenhouse gas emissions by 44% during the cold tank repair. We are confident the Kingsburg plant today, from the perspective of total air criteria pollutants, is the most environmentally clean float glass operation in the United States and among the cleanest in the world. In addition, in 2004, Guardian invested $50 million in advanced coating technology equipment for the Kingsburg plant. This nanotechnology-based equipment enables the plant to produce highly energy-efficient glass for California's buildings. Guardian is fully committed to sustainable manufacturing practices and to producing energy-efficient products that advance the goals of AB 32. Our $150 million investment at the Kingsburg plant over the past 8 years demonstrates the extent of this commitment. We recommend 3 steps to limit the negative economic impact of the cap-and-trade regulations. First, CARB should reconsider how it implements AB 32's mandate to give credit to those that voluntarily undertook measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. As you know, AB 32 requires CARB to, quote, ensure that entities that have voluntarily reduced their greenhouse gas emission prior to the implementation of this section receive appropriate credit for early voluntary reductions. Underscoring its importance, the CARB board quoted this section in Resolution 1132 adopting the final version of the cap-and-trade regulation in October 2011. However, in practice, CARB has done little tangible to meet this requirement. There is nothing concrete or specific that ensures that an entity like Guardian's Kingsburg plant receives appropriate credit for early voluntary reductions. There is no early action program, nor is there any provision of the cap-and-trade regulation that ensures that credit is given. There is no allocation of allowances or early offsets. We respectfully suggest that CARB develop a process by which such credit can be applied for and granted. Such a process would be especially relevant and critical to sectors such as flat glass, where major modifications to reduce emissions can realistically only be made during specific and confined periods of time. Second, CARB should do more to address leakage. We note that in its Resolution 1132, the CARB board directed staff to continue to review information concerning emissions intensity, trade exposure, and in-state competition of industries in California, and to recommend to the board changes to the leakage risk determinations, including for the refineries and glass manufacturers. We understand that CARB has commissioned a study to address this, but more action is needed soon, as companies must prepare for the economic impact of cap-and-trade today, for the program goes into effect in just a few months from now. Finally, we applaud this committee for focusing on the impact of the cap-and-trade regulations on jobs and manufacturing competitiveness in California. We urge you to continue this work, and we stand prepared to assist in any way we can. Thank you.